one of my old coaches texted me, and I got a lot of respect for him. He said, the sun will come up the next day, and it did. It didn't come out and shine very bright, I can tell you that, but it did get lighter out. We moved on last night from the Penn State game. I guess I'll move on with it today with you guys because our focus is all on the first ACC game of the year, Georgia Tech. We can't have a hangover from what last week was. We got to do a great job as a staff just to let that go and move on to the next week, which becomes the most important game of the year, really. It's going to be how we respond after the adversity we had Saturday. But when you look at that game as a whole, as I look at the tape, and we watch it as a staff, all three phases of it. When you watch the first half, you take out the last 59 seconds and one punt. We're right where we need to be in the first half. And it's a tale of two games. As I told a kid, two halves, I should say. Or you call it two games. The first half was a game, and the second half was a whole different ball game. And our kids just didn't respond to adversity. Our coaches didn't respond. Like I said, Saturday night or Sunday morning, whatever time it was. We talked, it comes down to, coaches, and it starts right with me, so we didn't finish it. Some things, some interesting just notes, that I think are important to understand, and the whole thing is, it's hard to get in the flow of the game when field position is such a critical thing. We talk about it being critical to winning, and in the first half, it's pretty much even, 30 yards, we're starting at 30, they're starting at 30, everything's even, all of a sudden the score's pretty even, although we got some, some miscues, holding snaps and all those things, holding a field goal or extra point. We got issues. Even our snaps were high, and so we can talk about the kicker, we can talk about the holder, we can talk about the snapper too, and there was nothing wrong with him. But besides all that, field position became so critical in the second half. As you saw, we were, that's us by ourselves. Their starting field position in the second half was a 46-yard line. Okay, that was their average for the whole entire second half. So they got the ball basically at the 50-yard line, while our average field position was at the 18-yard line. So, it's hard to recover from that. And it's a mental thing, and we got to, it's like I told the offense, I don't care where we are. We could be at the one every snap. We have to ignore where we are, and we got to move. We got to get the ball down. It doesn't matter. You can't. And it's the same thing we talk defensively, sudden change-wise. We got to be better on sudden changes. Sudden change, wherever it is. We coach that up all the time. Sudden change. Hey, they got the ball across the 50. They got a short field. How are we going to respond? Anytime there's a sudden change, our guys are screaming sudden change on defense, and we huddle up and we get together and we got to band together and stop them. And that's things that we did not do well. And we were put in a lot of circumstances then. So the fourth quarter they had the ball at the average 50 yards. So I think field position obviously was critical. Our penalties were lopsided 4-14, and there's some critical ones. There's 2 third-down penalties. We touched on every one of our kids last night. 2 third down and 10. And we got it behind the sticks defensively. So we get, we got a big play, we got a sack, we got a play made, but it's, it's a grabbing of a face mask or whatever it may be, or targeting or late hit, whatever you want to call it on the quarterback. It's like, it's not like we're not there or making plays, but we don't finish it the right way. And you got to finish the game, you got to finish the play, and you got to do it within the confines. Those are 2 good calls, and we didn't do it right. So you can't have critical penalties, critical errors on third down. So. And then the last thing on a positive note is, and you go, what happened? Again, it ends with me, is we rushed for 200 and whatever, 25, 30 yards in the game. We rushed for 214 in the first half, guys. But to me, it's like, you watch the tape, they didn't do anything different. Did they play harder on defense over there? Maybe. I don't know. I can't gauge their tempo, but I know structurally when you watch the tape, you don't see much of a difference. Maybe they brought a little bit more field blitz. But we prepared for that, so it's not like it was something new that we hadn't seen. But how do you rush for 220, 214 in the first half and not do it in the second half? And it's because you're backed up against the wall, feel like, oh gosh, instead of being, it doesn't matter. And we've got to have that type of attitude going in. So obviously Paul Johnson's coming in with that vaunted option game, and it's something that we have to be well prepared for. We've taken periods to work on the option throughout camp, throughout almost every day. I would say at least 80% of every practice out there, we spent somewhere between 10 or 15 minutes on that in camp, and spent a lot of time there. So we have to prepare for that. Beside the ball game, we got to prepare for 2 quarterbacks. Taquan got out of the game, but came back and threw the ball late in the game, and then Tobias kid, the backup quarterback, came in and ran it really good. So they got got dangerous weapons at all spots. You know, defensively the same way. I think they got 9 returning starters on offense, 5 on defense, and they're athletic, you know, from the front end to the back end. So, new defense coordinator down there. There's a 3-4 guy as opposed to old Ted Roof, who's down there, who's a great football coach. But Coach Woody's another great football coach that plays an aggressive style defense. So it'll be a different, you know, different front that our offense will see this week, and different adjustments for everybody. So we'll have to react well to that. So that'll open up questions.
How do you get the passing game done this week?
Well, there's not a monsoon, or you know, we got to get it going. You know, it starts with the protection and making sure Kenny feels, you know, confident in the pocket, and you know, and again, you can point to every direction. You know, the first thing is think, you know, I told you guys at the beginning, Kenny pressing a little bit, like he feels like he's, you know, on his shoulders. He's got to relax and just do his job. So that's the message, you know, we've got to him is, and like I said, you know, that's his 3rd start, guys. And you're playing it in a monsoon, different conditions. Just like add the elements in there. You know, add your big game atmosphere. Add, you know, add 8 o'clock at night. Add, you know, he feels like he's the man. He's got to do it all. He's not all by himself there. And, you know, and none of us are. We're not all by ourselves. We have a lot of support. You know, there's 11 guys on the field every play. There's a bunch of guys that got to be there, coaching-wise, manager-wise. You know, and obviously, you know, the other 100 players are sitting on the sideline watching. We all have to be there support. So he's not by himself. He's got to learn, you know, just to relax in the pocket. And I think he'll turn it. It's just a different atmosphere. And that's why I told you, when it comes to experience, I think someone asked me the question on Thursday, comes to experience, you know, what's the difference between a McSorley and a Pickett? You know, game experience, and you can't replace that. And, you know, we can't force feed it down anybody's throat. That's not his fault. That's where he is. He's a great quarterback, and I got a lot of faith in him, and he will be great. And he will be better this week, I promise you. You know, it's just a first time going through something like that. And I think, again, he, you know, internalize it, try to put more pressure on him. He can't do that. And we can't do that as coaches either.
Pat, when you look on the tape, were receivers open, or was it, or was there?
There's receivers open. You know, there's receivers open. You know, I don't know if he gave it as much time as he needed to, but there was receivers open, yes.
Pat, you said Saturday night, it's where we are right now after a game like that. I mean, did you think the program would be further along after 3 years, 40 games?
We're not going to measure anything after a game. Okay, 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, nothing's measured like that. And you know, you are where you are. You know, everybody's got goals, but you know, every week we got, you know, this is the most important game, this is the most important game, and Georgia Tech's the most important game right now. And you know, goals are great things to talk about during summer camp. But when you get to this time of year, it's about, you know, we break down every day, you know, beat Georgia Tech. Okay, that's what we, you know, during the season, that's what we do. And you know, this week it's Georgia Tech, and that's our focus. And we're not worried about, you know, game 1 doesn't matter, game 2 doesn't matter. I can guarantee you that. Okay, the only thing that matters is game 3 in Georgia Tech.
Pat, teams face adversity all the time, but were you disappointed or surprised maybe that your team didn't respond better in the second half?
No question about it. You know, sometimes there's an avalanche. Sometimes you can't control emotions, and again, you know, at different positions, you're younger than others. You know, and guys, you know, respond differently. Again, it's our job of our coaches to get those guys revved up and get them ready to go when they step on the field, and get them back refocused on the sideline. That's why I said it starts with us. We got to somehow get them back. I mean, you know, talk about offense backed all the way up against the goal line here, and then talk about the defense being backed up at sudden change. I mean, you know, we talk about how far, you know, we got to go, you know, we got to go, 82 yards on every drive. They got to go 50 yards on every drive, and your defense is putting a mind too. And it's a, you know, it's a double-edged sword, and we got both ends of that. We did not take care. You know, we didn't help ourselves by getting first downs. We didn't help ourselves by getting good punts, and you know, and we hurt ourselves by getting penalties and muffing punts. And that just you know, it's like an avalanche. You just, you know, and you know,
Are you
when it rains,
disappointed?
it pours.
Are you disappointed that with all your 5th-year seniors that the team didn't respond better?
Yeah, but when you look at the 5th-year seniors, did they have any, you know, part in some of the things? You know, probably not. Okay. When you look at the critical areas, it's young guys, you know, at critical positions. You know, we don't have, you know, Ryan Winslow holding. We don't have Ryan Winslow punt. We have the new, you know, so every year is a different football team. So it's a great point. It's like, you know, you look at the offensive line. You know, we did blow some holes open up in the first half. I mean, 214 yards, a lot of yards rushing. I mean, if we match that in the second half, we just do the same thing. I mean, you got 400-yard rushing day. You know, you probably win the game. Okay, when you rush for 400 yards. You know, so you look at, you know, every team is different. There's young guys and older guys. It's not like you have a team of fifth year, and older people are stepping on the field of fifth year seniors.
Were you satisfied they played hard all through the game? all
Yeah,
through
no
the game?
question about it. Right there, you know, I talked to them last night about it. I have no doubts they played hard. Did they play smart? Maybe not. Did they have as much knowledge as they need? No. Did we have bust? Yes, but we're gonna have them every game. But they played with effort. You can watch it all the way to the end. You can watch the last field goal block, where sometimes, you know, I've seen teams take plays off of me for the last field goal block. It's not like they're just standing there watching the ball go through the upright. They're coming off the ball, trying to, I mean, so there was effort. I'll never, you know, never question their effort.
Pat, last week you did say, you know, I understand that this week is not like every week, and you have it. How do you kind of equate that with not making sure that every outcome is treated any differently, that a loss to a rival isn't different than, you know, a loss to a team that maybe you don't have that kind of history with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's, you know, a loss is a loss. It doesn't matter if it's to a rival or to the worst team in the country, it doesn't matter. You know, I think they all feel the same to me. They really do. They all hurt. I haven't been in a loss that hadn't hurt me and made you lose sleep or not want to eat. I can tell you that right now. They all hurt. I don't care what they are. They don't, who doesn't matter. And, you know, I think that's the biggest thing. So they all hurt. You got to get over every one of them. I don't think who it is matters. I really don't.
But is that when you've got young kids and this is maybe their first experience in that environment, and now you got to go play a completely different kind of opponent 6, 7 days later? I mean, is that a maturity test maybe for some of those?
It's going to be a maturity test. It's going to be a coaching test. It's going to be a test. Period. They're all tests. You know, how we respond is going to be the most important thing, and we got to focus on the details as we talked last night. And again, like I said, there's some good things that happen in that game, and you're kind of going, but you know, it's just one guy here or there. You know, one guy in offense, and it just takes one. You know, one guy misses a block, or one guy can't block the three technique, or there's a miscommunication up front where, you know, we call this, and, you know, we call it a different, you know, I won't get into the names, you know, but if we make a front call or make a blocking call, and all of a sudden it's the wrong one, or I thought it was on the back side, that's on the front side, causes you a problem. So it's communication and,
That can help after a loss like that to just take a step back and look at the big picture, how it has, you know, bearing on what you want to achieve in the ACC, things
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, you know, no question about it. You know, we always talk about, you know, you make your biggest improvement from first week to second week. Okay, and I kind of looked at it, you know, myself last night, like maybe we, you know, maybe we made improvements, maybe we didn't. It's hard sometimes to tell because you played Albany and the opener, and all of a sudden you played a top 15 team, a good football team, and give Penn State, you know, their due. You know, they came in and played hard. They played with passion. You know, we didn't do what we had to do, and you know, maybe we'll make our biggest improvement from game 2 or game 3, you know, to game 3, because we've been there, and you know, so you know, I'm looking maybe for that. You know, I don't know very often we say make the biggest improvement from 2 to 3, but we need to make a bigger improvement, you know, on the big stage, and Georgia Tech is a good football team with lots of speed.
Paris Ford didn't play Saturday. Pat, you know, for you as coaches, what did that decision?
You know, it goes in there. You know, number one, Paris Ford. I love that kid. He's going to be a great football player. You know, I think, you know, too often the media makes, you know, bigger deals out of guys playing or not playing. I mean, not 11 guys get to play. Okay, and you know, when you got older guys out there that have more experience and you're playing a big game, I mean, you guys would be the first one if he fails to be screaming out like, why was Paris Ford not in there? Why was Dane not in there? I mean, so we can go back and forth. I mean, Dane didn't play in the opener and need his reps. We're playing in a big football game, and we need to win the football game, okay? Which is just like every week, and really, you know, it goes for everybody. I love this entire football team. There's not a guy in this seat, you know, in this room that I don't love, and I'd love to see everybody play. But you know, it comes down to 11 guys get to play each time, and you earn your reps during practice week, and he's still learning, guys. I mean, it's not easy to play. There's a lot of different things you have to adjust to, and he's a smart kid, and he's picking it up better and better. So glad we got to get his feet wet in the Albany game, but we can't have busts in the back end, and pretty much we were pretty clean back there as far as some of the coverages we did. You know, obviously there's always coverage beaters, you know, with whatever it is, with different splits and different calls, and it's good for this, maybe not good for that. And, you know, nothing's ever to be perfect back there, but we can't have busts. And I couldn't look myself. You know, as much as we talk about it's, you know, it starts with me and the coaches. I can't look at the rest of those guys if I'm playing a guy that I love back there that's gonna be a great player, I'm playing in front of this other guy up here that's pretty good, just because I love him. You know, it comes down to practice well, and the guys that practice well know what they're doing every snap. Because even the guys that know what they're doing every snap and practice well, they make mistakes too. You know, just like we coach every day, coaches make mistakes too. Even though we coach it, you know, are there every day. So even with the experience and the, you know, the knowledge we have in here, you know, as coaches and players, sometimes you're still gonna make mistakes. So, but if you're making mistakes in practice too, you know, is it 3 practice mistakes gonna equal 6 on game day? That's fatal.
What did you say to 98 after the game, Kurt? How do you know, obviously he didn't have a good game, but it
Yeah.
seemed like he lost his confidence.
You know, he probably lost his, I mean, it's a tough, it's not easy, you know, it's like I said, I mean, go back and watch, you know, here he is standing back here, but go watch where that ball was snapped now. We talking about in the rain, and he's gotta come over here to get the snap, okay, and again, it's wet, it did rain Saturday, so, and you look at the, you know, the problems, you know, the chaos that happened in the NFL with, you know, with the rain. And I guess I didn't do a good job enough getting more rain, and we went out in camp and got some, and we did wet ball drills last week as well, but, it's not easy. I mean, he, boom, stepped over here, caught it, and then bobbled it, and, you know, but you know, you're talking about a punter that likes that ball right there on his right thigh board, and all of a sudden getting over here. Even when he got his best punt, go back and watch tape, his best punt was when the ball, the snap was right where we want it, and he doesn't have to change his whole mechanics. It's like a golfer. It's like, you know, who's that one golfer that runs up and hits it, you know, I mean, that ain't easy to do if anybody's tried it, so it's a different swing every time based on, so Kurt got a lot of confidence in him, and he'll rebound. He's a tough kid, he's an older kid, and, you know, the important thing is he went back out there and caught him and punted him after that, you know. If he'd have dropped one, then, you know, did it again, then I would really worry, but he came back in those awful, elements and got it done.
Besides adjusting from the mistakes in the weather.
Who said again?
Sorry?
I didn't hear.
Besides adjusting from the weather to clean up some mistakes, what other adjustments do you want to make to win the field position better?
You know, move the football first of all in the second half. I mean, the 5 3-and-outs or whatever it was, back to back, can't happen. So we've got to move the ball in the second half. And that's an attitude that we've got to take going out there. And you know, we get, you know, here's the issue. I mean, you get backed up one time. You know, we talk about a coming out win is getting 2 first downs. You got to change the field position. If you go 3 and out, you punt it again, you're just going to keep getting into that war there. That you know, it's tough to, you know, especially versus a good football team. You know, and it won't be easy against Georgia Tech. I mean, if we go 3 and out against Georgia Tech, it's going to be an issue. I'll tell you that right now.
Pat, on the 4th and 3 at the 4 in the first half, were you trying to draw the defense offside? Was that one of your?
No.
You just wanted to run the ball.
And I know you want to protect your players. I know there was some confusion on the flag where Elijah got called for, you know, 12.
Illegal
Got called for
substitution.
12 men on
Yes.
the field. I mean, would you have appreciated? I mean, you kind of stated your case. They gave you a warning, and then the flag came almost immediately after that. In that scenario, would you either like some sort of chance to state your case and then step back? Because it seemed like it was pretty immediate. Like there wasn't any.
Yeah, there was no warning.
I mean, so and then going forward, I guess sort of how would you, I know you're a passionate guy. How do you? Are you
And I
finding
told the
line
kids
where-
last night, we went through all the penalties, and I put a penalty report up there on the overhead, you know, and it's got, you know, Joe and Fred and Narduzzi's on there, you know, and I told them I will not get one again. You can give me once, but I'm disciplined enough. You know, I've been on the field before and never got a, you know, penalty. You know, my fault, dumb. You know, I apologize to our kid last night. It's not smart on my part. Luckily, they had to punt the ball still, but you know, there was no warning, and that substitution was operated wrong. So,
Jordan Whitehead was always a big player against Georgia Tech, coming up and defending the run. Is there a safety this year that's, you know, kind of excels against the triple option?
they all better. You know, if we got one, they're going the other way. Okay, but we had a personnel discussion this morning, just talking about, you know, who, and you know, just like who's going to make the play, who's going to be that guy that's, you know, but you better have 4 DBs because it's going to be on the edge. They're going to, you know, all 11 guys got to be able to tackle. Okay, so I mean, I think it's important to understand. You know, if you're on the field, they're going to make you tackle. Period. They're going to make you take on blocks, whether it's to the field or the boundary. They're going to be equal where they run the option field or boundary, and DBs are going to have to be very active in the run game. So they better all be good. Is there a guy that's been, you know, especially good? I mean, you have to say Dennis Briggs has made some good hits. You know, Dave Jackson's been good. You know, Phil Campbell's been good. Mar Hamlin's been a slippery guy. you know, DeMar's played good against, I believe, Georgia Tech, so we all need to play good. We need to have backups play good too.
How much experience does Randy have against a team like Georgia?
You know, we spent a lot of time this summer on it, I can tell you that. You know, he coached at Navy, he's been around, you know, some of the triple teams, so he's got quite a bit of knowledge. It's been a while since, you know, being at Northwestern, but, you know, he's got a lot of help in that room with Charlie Partridge and Rob Harvey.
Pat, how similar is the new Georgia Tech defense to maybe the 3-4 you've seen from Virginia, or is it a little bit different?
You know, I'd say it's, you know, they're all 3-4s are about the same. I don't think they're a big pressure team, but we're still, you know, you always prepare for pressure. If they did it once, we're gonna prepare for it. You know, I would assume we'll see some of the similar stuff maybe you saw last weekend out of the 3-4. But the thing about 3-4s, you know, it's so multiple, who you can blitz and when you can blitz. But then, you know, 3-4s are 3-4s. I mean, if you look at an even front, they're pretty much very similar. They have different nuances that they will get into.
Okay. We have a final question?
Who's your holder this week in the Scarton part of the mix?
Hold.
No.
Scarton may be part of the mix, I don't know, but that's why we practice. I mean, we're gonna see who holds the best this week.
He's able to,
Question.
are you able to hold it?
I don't know. Find out how therapy's going and find out. I don't know. If I knew, I'd tell you.
Jerry, thank you for the final question.